Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by Jian Batra to preview Gameweek 29. Jian, pleasure to have you back on. I'm very interested to see what you're going to do with your team this week because you're in a little bit of trouble. You don't have that many playing players and you've only got one free transfer. But you know, you are the strategy man and you normally come on the channel and have these plans which no one else probably would think of, but you sort of do. So yeah, without further ado, I reckon let's just get straight into it. This is your team on screen. Tell the people, what are you thinking?
Good to be back as well. And hello to all the viewers. So I'm thinking it's -4, -8 territory. -4 at a minimum. And then it's very much the case of, do I want Haaland or do I not want Haaland? And that basically decides, do I want Salah or do I not want Salah? And that's essentially a conundrum.
Okay, so as it stands, you have 0.5 million in the bank and you have 9 playing players. So you're gonna have to take a hit anyway to get to 11. Are you happy with that to get to 11? Are you thinking one hit or are you thinking maybe go more? I mean, depends on how you sort of view a few of your players, like Dango in particular. I feel like I've talked about him on every video this week, but I don't expect him to start. Do you think it's worth taking hits for players that are gonna play but they're not gonna start?
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's whether I take an extra hit for him to take him out. And that could be in the form of moving him to like another midfielder. But it could also very much be in the form of just me moving Isak on as well. But I really like another forward. I was thinking about going Marmoush as well as Haaland. But the thing is, I've already got Foden. So like a triple up on the City attack seems a bit much. It's nice for the Leicester fixture at home. But I think with Brian, I have to give him more respect than that.
Okay, very interesting. You know what? Before I actually even come to you and get your thoughts on what you're thinking right now with your team, I just want to see what Fantasy Football Hub's AI is recommending. Right. I feel like it's going to be different to what you're thinking of, just because that's how you play the game. But on screen right now are the recommendations. And guys, if you don't know what this is, somehow still at this point of the season, every single game week, Fantasy Football Hub's AI will give your team, your personal team, transfer recommendations based on its algorithm. It gives you a little indication as to what might be possible. So for Jian's team, the recommendation is selling Watkins and Salah and buying Haaland and Semenyo.
Okay.
So that would give you the 11. It would be for a hit. But what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's great because my plans are very much aligned with that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I've got a few plans. So like the first one, and probably the one that I was leaning to the most beforehand, was to sell Mohamed Salah and sell Ollie Watkins and buy Haaland, but instead of Semenyo, I'd buy Kluivert. So that's plan number one. Plan number two is, let's say, the no Haaland plan. That would probably involve Isak to Wood and Watkins to Marmoush. So I still have that double City coverage. I just go for the two guys who go in, but like who play behind Haaland. And I think like recently he's definitely started to drop in, link a little bit more than he usually has done under Pep. Like they even go long into him and people bounce like or play off. So I think having the two like eights in Foden and Marmoush on the assumption they start isn't actually such a bad idea. So that's the other plan. And then the third one would be to do Salah and Watkins to Haaland and Kluivert, but then additionally take another hit, either Dango to Semenyo or Isak to Wood.
Interesting. And out of those three, what are you thinking is the most set right now? Or most likely, I suppose?
There's not been many weeks, if any at all, where I've been less sure of what I'm going to do and so 50-50. I think I'll push myself to go Haaland and then go Haaland captain. I think I like the fact that I get an extra fixture, and I still trust Palmer over Arsenal away and Spurs at home to outscore Salah over just Everton at home in 30. Yeah. I also like the captaincy shout for Haaland in 30. The only thing is they do play Bournemouth like only a couple of days beforehand-ish, like a few days beforehand, and that'll be a really intense game. Who knows? Maybe that's like extra time penalties. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's reduced expected minutes. But considering they're not playing for anything else, but obviously the FA Cup, but the getting top four, I do think that they should be okay overall. So I think if you had to push me, I would go Watkins to Haaland, Salah to Kluivert, and then I'd probably go Dango to Semenyo. Really trust that Bournemouth get the job done against Brentford, or at least score a couple of goals, and then I get a decent amount of involvement from that, and then trust that my Foden and Haaland triple up essentially, because like a captain is essentially 2 games, gets the job done against Brighton, and then Leicester at home in 30.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the team look a lot stronger. You would be coming in on a -8, but there's not really that much you can do about it.
Are you going to be taking a hit? Or no?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I'm not.
That's good.
But
How many people do you think take a hit?
Um, I don't know. If I was to guess, I would say that the average hit across like the top 100k or something, or the average starting points, including -4 for hits, would probably be like anywhere from -2 to -3 would
Yeah,
be
I was
my
gonna say that
guess.
-3. Yeah,
I think
maybe like
-3 is a little on the high side.
-2.5. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I see a lot of teams that are not taking hits. I
I would
think,
have a lot of firepower though. That's the good thing about
yeah,
this.
for sure. I mean, you have the players that could get those points back. No doubt about it. I mean, Foden is one, like that's sort of your game week. If he just does well in that game, then we've seen it before with your team. When he has a good game, it's just like that's all you really need in fantasy. A lot of the time, is for one of your players that's lesser owned to just have a great game. Then you'll be fine no matter what happens. Thing is, my team, I'll still have like Greaves at the back, which is not ideal. So I mean, I'm not even sure if he's necessarily going to start. There's some chat that he played particularly poorly in the last game and might be
Well, I have
rotated.
Burgess on the bench.
Exactly.
So like, and if I'm not backing Nottingham Forest, I could always just go with him and just be like, hey, you know what, I won't take a hit.
Depends if he starts or not, I suppose. But there's a chance. I think there is a chance that he does. Who knows? I mean, I'd love Greaves to start. I also have Dango, and I don't think I'll take a hit to remove him.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
I'm going to have triple Bournemouth anyway. I think I'm going to have Clivert, Semenyo, and then Dango. So I'm not sure who I'd remove Dango even for. It would have to be someone around that similar price, and I'm not sure I can see anyone there worth a hit. So you think it's worth taking a hit to go from Dango to Semenyo? Like the Bournemouth mids are the ones that the Bournemouth starting mids are the ones that you're happy to get in for the next 2 games, right?
Yeah, let's just set it out mathematically, right? Let's just assume Dango comes off the bench, gets a 1-pointer, right? That's the most realistic scenario out of all. You take a hit, or to just pay it back, you need to get 5 points or more. But your downside is really 4 points, right? Because you're taking a hit. 3 points because you'll get 2 appearance points. And then the upside is anywhere, I would say, up to like 12 because you can assume that like a midfielder can brace. And then 16 points -4, so like 12. So for a downside of 3 and an upside of 12, I just think in most cases, if not pretty much every case, it makes sense to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I like it more because it's spread across 2 games as well.
Yeah,
like that Ipswich at home game is just class.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess some people are saying that they think Dango might play that game just because of what you mentioned with the City game being just a few days before. And if he doesn't start in that game, if he's not first choice anymore, there's a decent chance he might start the Ipswich game. It's quite hard to predict that. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think he could. So I think like obviously they've got Tavernier, Brooks, and I guess Dango competing for that one spot. But because of Van Nissen's fresh back from injury, maybe he like starts that game on the bench and Dango plays up top. But the thing is, you still won't have him for 29. And I feel like even in isolation, taking like that downside of 3 for the upside of 12 is just worth it.
Do you think that's just the case with hits in general this week? Then for people out there that have less than or fewer than 11 players already, and they're thinking, oh, I could get away with 10. Is it worth a hit for a goalkeeper, etc.? Like normally you'd say no, but when you have a playing player versus a non-playing player, as you said, like the ceiling is obviously a lot higher than the floor, and you get that floor is increased because the fact that they're playing in the first place. So yeah, say I didn't have a playing goalkeeper, should I take a hit for one?
Yes, I would be taking a hit to get 11, irrespective of how many you have. Like as we like framed it, the downside is only like so minimal, like 3 points ish. But the upside is obviously, I guess, unlimited, but realistically about 12 points in every spot. Even if you cap that down to like 8, it's still like 8 plays 3. For me, it makes complete sense to take it. You're basically like just trying to get really lucky if you don't take hits and just hope that everyone else blanks.
Yeah.
But I'd rather just take it on, especially if you have any level of conviction, right? Let's just say, for example, you really think that like Johan Wissa is going to score at the Vitality. You may as well take it because if he scores, it's a 6 or 7 point goal with how good he is on the bonus system, as an example. And even for like a keeper, I would still take it.
I think as well, if you're taking like, I remember in seasons gone by, I've taken, I think, taken 3 hits into the free hit week, into the blank game week, and all it needs is one of those hits to work out at some points as well for it to sort of cover all the other ones. So you're sort of hedging a little bit as well that one of the 3 players that you bring in that you have conviction over, as you say, is going to do well. Like for me, I'm not sure who I would bring in for Dango, so I'm not 100% going to go there. I also think that he will start the next game, but
I assume you have Chris Wood, right?
I do.
Do you fancy Forest away at Ipswich?
I fancy them to win the game, yeah, but I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think it might be 2-0, 2-1. I don't think they're
I was
going to
gonna
blow
say
them
like maybe
away.
An Alanga, a Gibbs
Yeah,
White if one of them scored. How much money do you have like in the bank to move up Danga?
literally his price, or point
No,
0.1. So how much is Dango? 5-1 is he or something?
no, I think he's a
Yeah.
bit more than that. Is he?
So I'd have 5.2 to spend.
Okay, I don't think you can basically afford anyone. That's a unique situation though. I feel like.
Yeah, it is a unique situation, but like I don't think it's worth it at that point. I mean, Hudson-Odoi is 5.2.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm taking that because what you like said was actually really really good. I think if you assume that you bring in three players for a hit and we cap them all at downside of three, that means one of your players basically just needs to get 9 points to repay the entire set of
Yeah,
hits. And like, if you're going to bring in three players, you're backing pretty much all of them to have the capacity to haul. Never mind, and 9 points isn't a haul; it's just a goal, basically, right?
yeah,
So I think it makes sense. I would do it. On the assumption though, like you have even some conviction in Forest.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, then they play United at home, which is a good fixture as well. So I'm looking at this as a 2-week window in terms of any move I make this week, because the plan is to wildcard in 31. I assume that's your plan as well.
Yeah, it is my plan. One thing I'd say about United is I wouldn't be surprised if they do like their big game structure against Forest, especially because it's at the Forest ground. Give them quite a bit of respect, and like
Good
teams have
point.
found it really difficult to score against them. That's why like I prefer Bournemouth fixtures far more to Forest, and it's why I'm like I guess willing at the moment to an extent and just to a small extent take a chance against Chris Wood. But who knows? I'm gonna bring him in.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I might. I'm very risk averse in general as a manager, so I think I might just. I also, it wouldn't shock me if Dango comes off the bench, plays half an hour, scores a goal. You
Yeah,
know, if I
maybe.
see his minutes at like roughly 100 to 120 over the next two games, I think that's fine, which is what I have him at. What I want to do now, anyway, is go through player by player for people that might be looking at taking a hit or might be just looking at potential transfers anyway. And I want you just to give me the best pick in each position over the next two game weeks, I suppose, but more specifically for this game week.
Goalkeepers, I would be going with Onana. I think they've got the best fixture out of anyone.
Wow.
And as such, I'll go with him. Also, their defense has the capacity to be good. Like you've seen that in the big games. It's just that they change like what they try to do in these, I guess, quote unquote smaller games. But if they just embodied some of the philosophies that they do in the bigger games, I think they'd be quite a good defense. So I'm going Onana. In defense,
So
if
I've
I
got to
had
come.
to
I've got
pick
to come
one,
in there, and also in defence. I'll be interested to see if you have any, like, if you think of any other United players. I've seen like Bakar earlier in the week was loving the United defence. You clearly are a big fan of it
yeah,
in
I
this
like it.
one-off game. Do we really think that Leicester aren't going to score again, and United have turned enough of a corner to be slightly confident they're going to keep a clean sheet? Oh, I assume you do. But you have to because you're saying you're going with Onana.
It's not just to do with Man United. It's also to do with the fact that like I don't really like any of the other defenses that much. Even like let's say I bought in Aït-Nouri, right? But I wasn't like super confident of getting a clean sheet against Southampton. Like you look at Sulemana, Mateus Fernandes, Tyler Dibling, they've easily got enough to score. Like they scored against Liverpool, right? And they
Yeah,
could have got more. So they've got enough to score. City, I know people are like really high in Guardiola, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scores or get an attacking return. But in terms of the defense, like Brighton, they're flying. They've got so much attacking talent. Look at the way they play, the intensity. Like they can score. Ipswich at home, like with I always like don't love betting against Ipswich scoring when they're at home. Liam Delap, Amari Hutchinson. I think they got enough. Just those two alone, they can score. Even like Leif Davis bombing down that left flank. And yeah, there's basically no one else. The fixture where I think you could get a clean sheet is like Everton, West Ham. But like which
yeah.
one of those will keep a clean sheet is very difficult to predict. I feel like. So
Well,
yeah,
you have Pickford right now, so and that's the goalkeeper I'm thinking of going for because I need to make a goalkeeper transfer. So, I mean, there's a mention of Onana there, but
the other thing is you mentioned how it's a 2 game week span, and don't get me wrong, I kind of like having him for Anfield because I won't have Salah, I don't think. But like if you will have Salah, then
yeah,
like you are picking someone for Liverpool away.
yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so that's goalkeepers. You've mentioned defense already. If you had to pick one defender, regardless of price, obviously Trent is injured now as well as not playing in this game, so some people might be even more inclined to sell him. So maybe a Trent replacement. Who would you go for in defense?
Yeah, I'm going Dallo. Like I'm doubling down on
Wow,
the United defense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if I had to build an optimal free hit draft, I'm pretty sure mine had like double Man United defense.
really?
Yeah, yeah. It had Garnacho as well, so I went triple Man United.
Garnacho and double Man United defense. I
It
never
is
thought
Leicester away.
I'd see the day. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are Leicester incapable of scoring goals anymore? Is that what we're saying? I mean, they are
No, they're not
terrible.
incapable, but they
I
are
think
the worst
they've
team.
been worse than
Not playing
Southampton
good.
recently, haven't they?
Yeah, like the thing is, we only beat them 1-0, but that's more us being bad than them being
Yes,
good.
yes.
Like we were pretty rubbish against them. Um, so yeah, like I think United beat them. They should beat them like theoretically fairly comfortably as well. I think.
Okay. Interesting. Now moving on to the midfield. Let's talk a little bit about Chelsea midfielders in general, just because we haven't mentioned Palmer that much, and you have Neto as well. There's not really too much you can do about that. I don't really understand the people that are selling Palmer this week. I don't think I would ever sell a playing player in a blank game week.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Also, he's capable of scoring in any game. Like, that is the sort of player that he is. But what do you think about him and his lack of form recently?
Well, I actually, to be fair, like I changed that. I do get why they're selling him because it does allow you to keep Salah. It retains the value for Wildcard 31 should you wish to have him, and then you can captain him next week, right? So I feel like there's enough there whereby there's enough upside present to make up for one less fixture. For me, though,
Yeah.
like you said, he's got a fixture and he's just a top player. He's obviously like out of form. I didn't know he was ill, obviously, whilst he was playing against Leicester, but he was. I imagine he looked like a bit off it as well, so I imagine that had quite a big an effect. And yeah, he's just playing poorly at the moment. I also don't think the team helps, like not having Jackson, not having
Yeah.
Madueke. I think that's a big deal. The thing with Arsenal is theoretically, there's not much that we pose that really should be able to hurt them. I mean, we don't have the running power and then transitional threat of Jackson and Madueke. Palmer's out of form. And aside from that, like even in Kunku, yeah, sure, he's meant to be like a good pocket player. Like he is known as a second striker, right? Someone able to connect between the lines. But I don't think the physical level at the moment, or even like the technical level at the moment, is one whereby he should cause Arsenal too many problems when they're in like their deeper block. Neto shouldn't cause Gabriel and Saliba too many problems. In transition, yeah, some maybe, but I doubt we'll have like too many of those. So from a theoretical standpoint, I don't think we should do particularly well against Arsenal. But in the league at the moment, they keep finding ways to make it difficult for themselves. Draw away at Man United, draw away at Forest, lose against West Ham, and even like the Leicester game, like they played poorly. So I think I'll get a return, even though like I theoretically shouldn't. More so like due to like the confidence, psychology, that side of things.
I agree with all of that. I think it's going to be a very tough game for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And if I had to predict right now how many points Palmer would score, I would probably say 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think that means that we're incapable of scoring a goal. And if we do score, it's likely to come through Palmer in some form, I suppose. I hope he's fit. I hope he's feeling good.
Yes.
Has a bit more confidence. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and doesn't miss any penalties.
well, yeah. I didn't actually show your team at the start of this video.
No.
I thought we'd just get into your plans, but tough as a captain the last week. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's talk about potential midfield replacements in general. We mentioned the Bournemouth boys. Anyone else apart from that who you think, if I had the luxury of doing something, I'd go for that player for this week in particular? Actually, you said Garnacho. Sorry, didn't you? Sorry, yeah.
I was going to go Garnacho. I think he's not so much, but he's better off the right than he is the left. And I think we even saw that even like if you look at his output under Ten Hag, or at least in comparison to the minutes, like one game that springs to mind is when they had like West Ham at home. He's playing on the right, Rashford's playing on the left, and he played so much better.
Okay.
And yeah, I think he bracked up a brace that day as well. And there was another day I think he like got a brace that season as well, playing off the right. So yeah, he's good off the right in terms of output. And yeah, with all due respect, it's Leicester. And I think he should be able to do well, especially if he's got Bruno behind him as well, just as like someone to help him out in that sense.
Okay, very nice pick. I mean, he's very nice, very nicely priced. Again, if you're only getting him for like this week, then I like that pick a lot. Maybe
like I could pick him ahead of Semenyo, but I don't like Semenyo's got like Ipswich in 30, which is like makes it really difficult.
Yeah, I think it's tough not to go with either Semenyo or Cliver this week. I mean, if you don't have one of them,
I think I'll end up going both and hitting Danga for a -8.
I mean, I can't. There's nothing I can say to say, oh, don't do that. Yeah, they are the best picks, I think, over the next 2 weeks. I mean, Semenyo has been poor recently in terms of FPL output. I can't say I've watched loads of full Bournemouth matches, but like he's picking up a lot of yellow cards. He's actually, I think he's like 1 or 2 away from a suspension.
He's on 8.
It doesn't really affect anyone, but it's like he will probably get a yellow card across these 2 games. He's been picking up a lot recently. He's not really had like that many clear-cut chances either, which I've seen. He had a one-on-one where he's played through by Dango a couple of games
against
ago.
Brighton. Yeah, when Ruben saved it. Yeah. He should have scored that.
Yeah, apart from that, I can't think of many chances that he's had. It's more just been the other players that have sort of been doing well, I think. I mean,
I get
Clivert's
what you
been
mean.
great again. Evan Nilsson's looking really sharp. So
I could get him instead of Semenya as well because I have the Isaac spot opened up.
yeah, see that. I think I would be tempted to go for Evan Nilsson. Again, though, I'm not sure about his minutes. If he's ready to play
Yeah.
that City game, which he will have to start, and then straight into that Ipswich game, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I feel like Dango could start that game up front, which is why I want to keep him. But I don't know. It's tough. Okay, so Garnacho in midfield. I love that pick. And then final pick, forwards. Who would you go for?
Haaland.
Okay, apart from Haaland.
I was gonna say I was tossing up between him and Marmoush, so I'll just go Marmoush second.
Marmoush. Okay, nice.
Like,
okay, was that your decision?
Yeah, for this week, I really like Evanilson as well. Like,
Yeah.
like he looked good against Spurs. So yeah, I think Worcester could do decently well this week. I'm not sure I'd buy him just because like there's so many other good options, and he's away at Bournemouth, but I think he could do all right. And then obviously like Chris Wood's the other obvious one. There's a lot though, like even Strand Larsen's there. I guess if you back against Forest, you can always go Liam Delap because he's got a ceiling at home, right? You probably wouldn't, but like you could. So yeah, there's quite a few options this week.
Okay, interesting stuff. All right, mate. Well, I'm very interested to see what you end up going with. How many hits you do take. Do you do a final team reveal on Fantasy Football Hub? You do. Okay, so if people want to see 100% what you're gonna do, then go on the website. Link down below as always. If you want more sort of reasoning and thought process behind Jian's team and also just players in general, and what I like a lot about your channel is you talk about the actual fixtures themselves and what you think is going to happen in individual fixtures. As you've said, like, you know, United against Forest, for example, how they play against top teams when they're away. I hadn't really thought of that, so it's good food for thought. Anyway, the point being, go and head over to Jian's YouTube channel. It's just Jian Batra. Is it FPL Jian Batra?
Yeah.
FPL Jian Batra. It's been on screen, all video. Video's doing really well, mate. I am a fan.
Thank you very much.
So keep up the good work. I think that's going to do it for this one, mate. I don't think we've missed anything too crazy, have we? Yeah, go on then. A little word on captaincy. It's got to be Haaland, doesn't it?
So close. I think like between him and Wood is so close at the moment. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you not like the Chris Wood captaincy? I assume you'd be captain him or no?
Nah, I'm going to captain Haaland. I think he's got the ceiling there.
What are your moves? Just Salah.
My moves are Salah to Cliver, Iliman and Jai to Haaland, and then my backup keeper, Valdemarson, to Pickford. And then
you got 3 frees?
Yeah.
Look at you.
There you go, man. I'm this is what happens when you're risk averse and relatively patient. I think you get away with. I mean, I don't think I'll have the best team for the week. Like apart from, I'll have Dango, I'll have Greaves.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of. I think if you were in my position, you'd be taking an extra hit, maybe even 2.
I'd be taking. Yeah, I'd take 1 and then I'd just back Ipswich to do something.
Yeah, but there you go. I'm not sure. I will have a think about the Hudson-Odoi move. I hadn't really fully thought about that. I just really, I'm not done. I don't think Dango's done as an option yet. I think that Ipswich at home game could be. If he didn't have that, if it was like any other game, even Ipswich away, I might be tempted. I think.
But Ipswich at home, do you have like, because you have 8 assets because Isaac will be back. Do you have like a.
Very good point.
Who are you going to bench? Because you might end up like not benching him, but the asset you might bench anyway might do really well.
Yes, that is a very, very good point. It's also one that I haven't mentioned that, but that is one of the reasons why I'm not 100% on taking the hit this week. Because if I took a hit for a player this week, I might bench them next week. It will be between him and like Mbermo, Newcastle away, which you'd want to play Mbermo there.
Yeah, you really would. Think.
So it's also like if there was an injury or something that happened in the international break, I'm covered from that. But yeah, that's a very good point. That is another reason why, I don't know, taking a hit just for 1 week. I don't know.
3-point downside.
Yeah, I'm just not sure who I'd go for. It would have to be Hudson-Odoi, I think.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they will. They could. I'm just hoping that Ipswich do something because I might not have any Ipswich. But who knows? I could literally just end up with Haaland and Wood captain. So we'll see.
You know what the thing is? Like, you know when I went for McKenna as my assistant manager and Ipswich were at home to Tottenham.
Spurs, yeah.
And Ipswich's fullbacks just went mental and were playing so high up the pitch, and then Son just got in again and again, and that's where the first 2 goals came from. And Hudson-Odoi plays in that position.
You don't think he might learn from that though?
Yes. I'd like to hope so.
Yeah. Because especially against Forest, you do that like with their threat in transition, Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi down either flank, you're in big trouble.
Exactly. It's not even as if Tottenham are an amazing counter-attacking team anymore, like they used to be a few years ago. I mean, they're still good. They've got a lot of pace, but I think if you're asking like who's a better counter-attacking team this season, Tottenham or Nottingham Forest, then Forest are the best.
Oh
in the
yeah,
league.
easily. Forest are very, very good at that.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, good stuff. Thank you very much for walking us through the game week. It's been very enjoyable. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.